Today finds Larry in eastern Texas on a small reservoir searching for largemouth bass. Let's join him as he uses a spinnerbait to probe deep water structure in today's lesson, Deep Water Spinnerbaits.
You know, right there, that right there is evidently a big man-made brush pile. Comes up off the bottom about 7 to 9, 10 foot, somewhere right in there. And when I see that on the depth finder, I'm automatically going to look at the bank and get me a line so that I know right where it's at. Put a marker buoy on it. If you have one handy, just pitch it out. That way you can circle back and look at the brush again and know right where it's at, and then back off and make your cast to it. Now, that's the way I fish deep water. I learned to find spots by idling around using the big motor and looking at them electronics. Get you a mark on the bank, then back off and hit that cover with your lure. Look there, what a brush pile. See, that's a pretty good sized brush pile there. Looks like somebody's dropped several trees in there in that one spot. That could be a fish. This could be fish right up on top. If you can find cover or bait, you've got bass there. I have seen a time where I just catch a bunch of fish and there wouldn't be any cover, just a lot of bait. Especially in the back of some of these creeks in the fall of the year when they get on what I call a shad pattern. Find the shad and you find the fish. But if they've got good cover and good structure, in most lakes, they're going to relate to the brush piles.
Finding cover or bait is the most important key to deep water bass fishing. If you find a combination of both cover and bait, then bass will probably be in the area.
You know, the easiest way to learn how to fish is put you out a buoy and mark your cover. And once you do that, you want to throw way beyond the brush and let that spinnerbait go plumb to the bottom. And this applies in any depth of water, even if it's only 2, 3, 4 foot deep or 15 or 20 foot deep. Just go past it, let the bait sink all the way down, and maintain contact on the fall, because every now and then you get fooled, want to get it on the way down. But then when it hits the bottom, jerk your rod tip to start them blades, and then just start you a good, slow, steady retrieve, keeping your bait down on the bottom. You know, a foot or so off the bottom's all right, because that brush is tall and you're going to hit it with a bait. And usually when you come through that cover, like you hit that brush right there, you know, when you shake it free, I mean, there I was in it pretty stout right there, but that's when your strike will come. When you come out of that brush, bam! I may have hit a limb. I jerk at limbs too every now and then. But that's usually when the fish is going to get it. Make several casts at a spot like that. Don't quit with just one cast. Throw past it, let it go to the bottom. Work it from different angles. Once you know fish are in a given area, a lot of times you may have to try several different presentations in order to get them to hit.
The easiest way to learn how to fish deep water structure with a spinnerbait is to throw out a marker buoy on the structure. Back your boat off and make long casts past the buoy. Maintain contact with your bait as it falls to the bottom. Then begin a slow retrieve, bringing your bait through the cover.
Pretty good one. Come on up here. Yeah, he wanted that big spinnerbait down on the bottom. Not a bad fish. Kind of messed up my spinnerbait just a little bit. You know, my spinnerbait is a good structure bait. Kind of like a deep diving crankbait, only it's not quite so much work. Just let that thing sink all the way to the bottom. Once he hits bottom, just wind him along real slow, and when you feel him hit that cover, work him through it. A lot of times they'll suspend in that stuff. They get suspended in that cover, and once you feel it bump through it, a lot of times just reel it 2 or 3 hard turns and stop it. And fish that are up off the bottom, You know, they'll see that erratic movement, and that's what it takes to trigger them into striking. I bet I get a strike. Well, come on up there. I want to see what you look like. Oh, what a jump! Dadgum! You're a no-quitting fish. Would you come here? That's a good one. Good bass. That's a nice fish. Boy, he did a number on my bait. You know, that's one thing about light wire spinnerbaits that you just have to learn to live with. Now, I'm not saying that they're 100% better than a heavy wire spinnerbait, but when you're fishing in competition, a missed strike can cost you a lot of money. And that's why tournament fishermen like light wired spinnerbaits. If a bass can't crush that wire when he bites your lure, you're going to miss a certain amount of strikes. And a lot of times they come in on the bait, and if they hit a stiff wire, it'll turn the hook away from them and they won't get that hook. But when you got that light wire, you're going to have to deal with messed up and bent up spinnerbaits, and you just grab them, bend them back into place, and you're ready to go again. Let him sink all the way down, and pay close attention on the fall now, because a lot of times one will hit that thing as it's sinking. A lot of my experiences in bass fishing, late fall and early spring are the two times when they hit it best on the fall. Cold water. Summertime, they want that thing moving along, and that's why you hear everybody using 3/4 or 1 ounce spinnerbaits with small blades. What that does is that gets you maximum depth and more speed. Summertime spinnerbait fishing calls for more speed unless you're in real muddy water. You want that bait moving along at a pretty fast clip, but yet you want to get it down in the strike zone where the fish are. You know, and when they're not up on the surface, if they're down on the cover, that means you got to fish the bait down deep and bump the cover. What a spinnerbait does better than a crankbait, and you know, a lot of people don't understand that. What a spinnerbait does is it allows you to control the depth of the bait. In other words, you're not on the bottom all the time. A deep diving crankbait, it's got to go to the bottom. So when you hit brush, it comes up and over the brush. Where a spinnerbait, when you hit that brush and you bump it instead of stopping a lot of times and you continue your retrieve, a fish that's suspended in that cover, you're going to catch him. But a deep diving crankbait will go back under him. A big spinnerbait and a crankbait work together to catch bass. A crankbait will catch them and it'll find the cover. Fish that are uncatchable on a crankbait, that's when you use a spinnerbait. So you use the two in combination when fishing structure.
A good technique to use when fishing deep water structure is to use both a deep diving crankbait and a spinnerbait. Use the crankbait as a search bait to locate the cover and to catch aggressive fish. Then use a spinnerbait slow rolling through that same cover to catch fish that may not be in a feeding mode.
Oh, he come on. No, he didn't. Boy, he's a jumper, isn't he?
And now, here's another important Nixon note, courtesy of Mustad, makers of the revolutionary new triple grip treble hook.
You know, the new pro model spinnerbait that some of the guys have been using for so long, these heavy baits are built for specific purposes. Spinnerbaits, the key is vibration and speed of the bait. Speed of the bait a lot of times means that you have to use a big heavy spinnerbait in order to get a fish to chase the bait. If it's moving slow, he's just not going to react to it. So a big 3/4 ounce bait with bright blades. Now you're thinking, boy, that is a bright bait. And you're right, it is. Off-colored water situations and anywhere that you've got fish that'll come a long ways to chase a bait like smallmouth. That's when colored blades play a big part. Get under that water. Good fish, pretty colored. Got him a summertime tan. Get that dark look. It's one way I've always been able to tell a lot about a fish is when in the springtime when they're coming out of deep water, they look kind of white. And then once they've been in shallow water for a while or the water temperature gets warm, they get that good dark color. That might be a better right there. Finding out. Good fish. Come on up here, goodness. Good bass. Thank you, thank you. Come out there. Here he's coming. Oh, he's going to jump. No, he ain't. Stay down. Where do you think you're going? Yeah, he's not a big one. Come here. Well, I knew you wasn't done. You just swam right up here. Swam right up here like you was finished. Hard to get a hold of. A plump one. Fish have been eating big minnows or something. I know it's not spawning season. Thanks, I needed that. Fire line don't wear out bad. Pretty important you make long casts when you're fishing structure. You know, you want to know where your cover is, make long casts past it, and that way you'll hit it when you come through.
When fishing structure, it's important to make long casts past the structure. Then bring your bait back through the cover.
I mean, he knocked the tar out of it. I don't know what he is, how big he is, don't have no idea. I mean, he hit good fish. He spit up a shad on the top, floating on the water there. Good fish. Pretty bass. Puked up a shad. I think I've got the bottom of the lake. No. Boy, you sorry outfit, you. Throw my bait back at me like that. shad fish. Now, they break a lot in the fall of the year, especially in Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana. I find a lot of fish by watching birds or seeing fish break. Yeah, look, here he comes. Whoa, what a bass! That is a good one. Come on up here, you big dude, you. Stay out of that water. Now, come on. Beautiful bass. Good fish. I sure hope you've enjoyed this, folks. Tell you what, kind of fishing I enjoy. When they get on that structure, I love it. Fishing a big spinnerbait on structure, that's a summertime and a fall pattern that won't quit. Hope you've learned something today that'll help you catch more fish. Come back and see me again next week. Nice bass.